I just want to preface this video by saying this is kind of a longer video, a longer deck profile. I go through and explain some things, some combo lines. If you're here just for the deck profile, there's going to be a timestamp towards the end of the video. You can scroll, it'll be right there, and you can just go straight to that. But appreciate it if you watch. But yeah, if you do want just a deck list, it's right at the end of the video. I'll have a timestamp for it. But thank you guys. Hey guys, welcome to my Eldlich deck profile. So this is a budget alternative to the deck profiles I've been releasing earlier in the week. I did get a few requests to make a budget alternative. And yeah, we've had a lot of reprints of this deck. The whole Eldlich core has been reprinted a few times, and thanks to cards sets like the Rarity Collection and Maze, those sets, reprint sets have made a bunch of the trap cards that we use in this deck a lot cheaper. We have a little Nadir Servant package that's really cheap nowadays. And yeah, so we'll get straight into it. Starting with the main card, Eldlich the Golden Lord. Still running 2. We ran 2 in our expensive builds. Obviously going to run 2 in our cheaper versions. It's just a good number, a good ratio. He doesn't seem to ever get in the way when it's at 2. 3 sometimes can be bricky, but he's the main guy. He has a great effect where he can send himself in another spell or trap in hand until you can send any card, so it's even good going second. Yeah, so we have a bigger trap, Eldlich trap package this time around. We have 3 Eldlichers, 3 Conquistadors, and we are playing 3 YUGIOHs. So yes, some of these cards are in different sleeves. These guys are in different decks and in binders and stuff, so didn't get the time to re-sleeve them all, but yeah, so 3 and 3. Reason for this is YUGIOH is actually really good against the meta right now. Banishing from the grave is really good because Fire Kings is a thing and you want to get those cards out of the graveyard. So we get to our Golden Lord, maximize Eldlich to get the Golden Lord. You can pop with Conquistador, pop like the Fire King Island. YUGIOH can just banish all those annoying cards, problem cards. You can get rid of a Promethean Princess, stuff like that. So 3 is good, and it's just a bigger engine helps us get to these cards and recycle. They float. So next up, 3 Lord of Heavenly Prison. Fantastic card for a trap deck. Fantastic card for an Eldritch deck. Basically, you just reveal this guy, and then any traps you have set are protected. They can't be destroyed while this guy's revealed. If you activate one of your set cards while he's revealed, you can special summon this guy and then set another card. And we'll get into what cards are good to set off of this. And yeah, I just really like this card, and it's really good going first because your opponent can't do anything about your traps. And we'll kind of we'll talk about what I do with him during game 2 and 3. But next monster is Lava Golem. So Lava Golem's really nice, you know, just outs problem cards. A lot of people are ending in on an IP and another monster, or an SP and something else. It's really good just to get rid of your opponent's cards. You know, you tribute them, special it to them side, and they get burned for 1,000 every standby, I believe. Yeah, during their standby. So yeah, it's good to out monsters, and you know, tributing doesn't trigger any of their destruction effects because, you know, Fire King Snake Eyes loves destruction. So now we have 3 Nadir Servant, 1 Ecclesia. So I kind of talked about Lord of the Heavenly Prison earlier. We do a lot of things with this guy, but one of the things we do is, so you reveal this, you know, activate a trap, and he gets a special summon and he can set a card. One of the cards we would set is Nadir Servant. And what we do with Nadir Servant, you know, activate it, and we get our Ecclesia. Ecclesia will then search our Dogmatica Punishment. So we run 1 Dogmatica Punishment. It's searchable off Ecclesia. And yeah, so then we have a Dogmatica Punishment, and we have a couple targets in the extra deck that Punishment is really good for. That's why we play the 3 Nadir Servant. It's also good just to draw it even without having to use the Lord of Heavenly Prison, but that is the concept behind that. I forgot to also mention, on activating the Nadir Servant, we have targets in the extra deck that benefit from getting sent to the grave, and we'll get into that when we get into the extra deck. But yeah, just some good synergy. So we have, you know, Nadir Servant just activating it because we drew it, or we have Prison that can search it, then Ecclesia searching the Nadir, searching the Punishment, and then you can double up on sending stuff from the extra deck with Nadir or Punishment. So they're really good cards, and just good to break boards. And then we have one Ariel, so you can kind of see where we're going here. Nashadel Ariel, she is part of one of the combos that we do with sending from our extra deck to grave. Punishment can send the Shadal App Cologne, which will add Ariel to hand. You discard one, you discard the same Ariel, and Ariel can banish 3 cards from your opponent's extra deck. So what you want to do with that is complete that combo, and Ariel target like Promethean Princess, target a Flame Bird's Dragon, target anything that's problematic. So obviously I'm mentioning Fire King stuff, but you can do anything, any important monsters that your opponent has. Just get them out of the grave. Next, we have 3 Pot of Extravagance. So Pot of Extravagance is nice because we do not care about our extra deck in this. We are fully committed to the trap. There are some cards in our extra deck that we do want to, use, but they're not as they don't come up as often. So, and we run multiple of them. So banishing our extra deck to get 2 draws, get into more traps, stun our opponent out, it's even better. So gotta play Pot of Extravagance. So getting into our trap part of our deck, so there's a couple traps that we play at 3, a couple that we play at 2, and I'll kind of get into that and explain that towards the end here. But first off is 3 Summon Limit. So Summon Limit is pretty much a blowout card. I've had a lot of games where my opponents just scoop because I flip Summon Limit, because they don't really run anything to out it. They don't have any spell trap removal, and yeah, they just know that they're not going to be able to out it, so they'll scoop. Summon Limit is really good. Not many decks can play with just 2 special summons. I think Voiceless Voice might be the only one right now, but yeah, Summon Limit definitely you want to play at 3. Next up is Solemn Strike. So Solemn Strike is really good. It can negate hand traps. It can negate special summons. So it's just really good because it's versatile, and 1500 is a really, really minimal cost to pay for how strong this card is. So Solemn Strike is great. And finally, our last 3 for traps is Trap Trick. So Trap Trick is at 3 because it helps us search our 2 We can also search the 3 traps, but the reason we play Trap Trick is 1, it helps us have more options without making our deck too big. So our deck is a 44 card list. Trap Trick helps us keep it that low because we can have cards at 2 and allows us to banish the second copy and immediately set the other copy and activate. So for example, my next card, Different Dimension Ground. It's a blowout card. A lot of decks need their graveyard, but so if I activate Trap Trick, I can banish one and immediately set the other, and then I can flip it because of Trap Trick. I can activate it right away. And sometimes the cards that are at 2, I want to see them, but I don't necessarily want to see them always. The traps that I run at 3, I want to see them all the time. So that's the concept behind that. And Trap Trick, I run at 3 because it helps me get to all my other 2-ofs. So yeah, going to DDG, Fire King's main deck of the format, loves their graveyard. This card just helps get monsters out of their graveyard, and it's only 1 turn, so it's not like Shifter where you hurt yourself. But we'll get into that later. But so yeah, our next 2 is Torrential Tribute. This is a card that I side out a few times, but it is pretty good. Obviously it destroys, so don't necessarily want to be destroying Fire King cards. But if you activate this after they've already triggered all their destruction effects, it might be good to just do it and clear the board again. And if you do a Torrential Tribute and then maybe flip a Summon Limit after the fact, or depending on how the situation is, I don't know how that would work, but yeah, you can stun them out. First you wipe their board, and then maybe they can't do anything after the fact. Or okay, so yeah, here's a scenario. So say you summon Torrential Tribute while they have their Flamebird's Dragon, and then they use their flame. So it's your turn. They use Flamebird's Dragon to special summon the 2 cards that they always special summon. They Ash and the Ponix, or Ash and the Poplar. They bring those 2 cards back. Then you flip Summon Limit. Now your opponent has already summoned twice, so they can't activate IP and go into anything else because it's their turn is on, and they can't go more than 2, so there's a concept there. Skill drain. It's skill drain. 1,000 life points is minimal to pay when you can stop your opponent, and skill drain with like a summon limit is game breaking sometimes. And yeah, we can search this, so that's why we only play 2. And finally, anti-spell fragrance. So anti-spell is another blowout card. Our opponents. Reason I'm maining it is because a lot of times, well, nowadays decks are maining back row hate, specifically because the Fire King being such a strong deck. The Fire King Island wipes their board, and so people are maining Cosmic Cyclones, Feather Dusters, and stuff. So anti-spell just stops them from doing that, and it's really nice because sometimes people will scoop if you flip the anti-spell because they're like, well, I have no way to destroy it or beat you. So, and finally, I have a Called by the Grave. So just another way to stop my opponent from hand trapping me, and then also another way to just banish cards. So you can set it and flip it on their turn and banish one of their combo pieces. So getting into the side deck. So we have some alternative 2-ofs. So Solemn Judgment and Ice Dragon's Prison. Judgment is just a great card. It says no, if you really need your summon limit or your other traps to go through and your opponent negates it, you can Solemn Judgment whatever they're trying to do. Ice Dragon's Prison is pretty good because, I mean, especially against Fire King, you can target Ash and Oak, Poplar, special summon it, and then banish. Since you pick Pyro, you can banish the Oak or the Poplar and their Ash that they just summoned. And, get advantage there because now they lost 2 cards and they're not in the grave, so they can't, use them for resources. So next is 3, Waking the Dragon. So Waking the Dragon is my side tech. So what I do is game 1, obviously you play without it, and I side this in immediately game 2, because if they're not playing back row hate in the first game, they're definitely going to put back row. They're going to side in back row hate, and then Waking the Dragon is just waiting for them. And I do have some crazy targets for Waking the Dragon. So if you don't know what this card does, if it's destroyed or banished my opponent's card effect, I can special summon a monster from my graveyard or from my extra deck or deck. We usually do extra deck, obviously, and it bypasses, summoning conditions, so you can summon some crazy cards, and we'll get into our targets in a sec. Another weird thing I'm trying, but this card is just auto wins, is D-Shifter. So yeah, we play Golden Lord, and we do want to get him, we do send him to the graveyard. We don't want to risk losing him. But a lot of times, what I do is side out the Heavenly Prisons on game 2, and I put in D-Shifters. And now they're expecting me to have, protection in my back row. I don't know where I hit them with the D-Shifter, and they're not expecting that at all. They go first, say I win the first match, and they go second, they're expecting, since I have no hand traps, they're expecting that they can combo off. They're like, oh yeah, I'm about to go off. Activate D-Shifter, completely stalled them out. Now I get to go set all my traps. If I ain't able to push for game, then they, back to them. I have all my traps laid out and they can't really play. So D-Shifter is something I'm testing out. I like the concept. I saw it off of, I think, the Dual Logs video. I might put it in the description. It's a short, but the concept there is that, it helps you going first or second because it just stalls your opponent and gives you time to set your trap cards. So D-Shifter is pretty cool card. Should get banned, but yeah. And then I play Nibiru, so I side this in with Shifter because so I'll take out my lava golems if I feel like they aren't working. I'll do Nibiru because if I can't stop them, just if they're comboing off too much, I can Nibiru them and then use my traps to stall out the rest if they keep playing through that. I just really like Nibiru. I think it's really good right now. And then just 2 other cards, one of a Duster, because we too need to destroy back row sometimes. So RP there. And Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is pretty cool because, especially against Fire King, you can revive their Promethean Princess to your side of the field, and now they can't use her against you. And yeah, let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we'll start off with the one Gustav Rail Cannon. So pretty standard in an Eldlich deck. You manage to summon 2 Golden Lords on field. You can overlay and burn for 2,000. It's really good for time. You know, it's just a good card to have, and you can end the game just with that effect. So next I have one Constellar Pallades. So requires 2 level 5. So your 2 traps, your Conquistador and Wakero on field. They're 2 level 5 light monsters. So you can make Pallades. Pallades quick effect can detach one of them to material to target a card in the field and return it to the hand. It's a good way to out some problem monsters. 2 Link Spiders. So Link Spider is basically because of our Conquistador and Wakeros. You know, they're normal after you use their effect, or you know, if your opponent's not going to destroy them, you can just send them to the grave yourself. You link them off with Link Spider. And yeah, now you turn those into an effect monster too if you need an effect monster. But yeah, 2 Link Spiders. Play 2 of them because we do run Pot of Extravagance, so we try not to banish both of them. It doesn't come up, Link Spider doesn't come up all the time, but we do want to ideally still have one. So this is just like a close to a heart pick. It's not really necessary, but Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. Reason being, all our monsters are greater than level 7. And this card, if it's used with the monster with level 7 or higher, or it's linked summon with the monster level or higher, it gets bonus effects. So, you know, Golden Lord and Heavenly Prison are both higher than that. So he's just really fun, and he's a really good card, and he can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So next, so I do have a proxy here. So Construct is supposed to be another Alp-Cologne. I just couldn't find my third one, but so just bear with me there. But 3 El Shaddai Alp-Cologne. Reason I played 3 of her is because 1, we play Extravagant. So we really don't want to banish our Alp-Cologne. We want to make sure we have at least 1. And the reason we played 3 is because we have Ariel on the deck. And Ariel is a brick if you don't get this combo off. So you want to ensure that you get Ariel to work, because if she doesn't, then she's useless. If you banish your 3 App Colognes, and if you banish, say you only play 1 App Cologne, and you banish the 1, you're screwed, because now even if you have all the cards to do the combo, you can't because you got rid of your one target. So yeah, make sure you maximize on this one. And then finally, our Waking the Dragon targets. So I guess I have one more Dogmatic Punishment and the Deer Servant target. Entis. So Entis, we all know what Entis does. It just destroys a Center Grave, and you can destroy a card on the field. It's good to target like the Fire King Island. And then, so another proxy, same thing. My Shaddai Construct is in place for the 3rd version. I do have a 3rd one, but I couldn't find it. But the Last Warrior from Another Planet. This card auto wins you games sometimes. So you summon him off Waking the Dragon. And yeah, as you can see right there, if he special summon, you destroy all other monsters you control. You don't have to worry about the destroy because neither player can summon monsters. So it doesn't matter that you destroyed and triggered all the Fire King card effects, because no player can special summon monsters. And then you can just poke for game, and then with your traps you can stun them out. So yeah, a lot of times we side in our Waking the Dragon, they side in back row hate. We summon the Last Warrior, and it's GG's. And another card, it's just really cool that we can summon it. It's really nice that it got reprinted. 3 Barone. So yeah, this card used to be really expensive, but now it's just 50 cents. So why not play 3 of them? It's Awaken the Dragon target, and it gives you a free negate. Good card, really good card. There's a reason it was really expensive up until this point. But yeah, Barone. Alright, so what are some alternatives that you can use? So obviously, like I mentioned here, I have 3 Barone, 3 Last Warrior, 3 App Cologne. You could try and cut it down to 2. And then you can do like a Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon or a Side Frame Omega. Just another punishment target. And yeah, so these guys are good because he can help you out monsters or send a monster from your opponent's graveyard back to the deck. And yeah, there's just other alternatives for your extra deck. So here's the deck list. Obviously, you guys can see that the prices can fluctuate if you have things in your collection already, or if you get a deal at locals, you can get this for even cheaper. So this is the deck list. If you really want it to be 40 cards, I know a lot of people are picky about that. You can just cut any of the few traps that you don't like or don't necessarily want to play. You can cut the trapchick engine and add one and one other card, a called by it, whatever. You can manipulate this to what you have or what you feel works. So definitely easily could get this to 40 cards and it would work just fine. I like 44 just because I play a little bit more when I'm playing a stun trap deck, so it's perfect for me. But yeah, feel free to adapt this to however you see fit. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.